Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our webinar to learn more about Digital Main Street and the Future Proof program offered through TechAlliance. I'm Todd Copeland. I'm the General Manager of Community Futures Middlesex. Before I introduce the speakers, I just want to take a brief opportunity to familiarize you with Community Futures Middlesex, our services and programs. And if I can get my slide to advance here, that would be good. So Community Futures Middlesex, similar to others on this call this morning, is an incorporated nonprofit with federal funding through FedDev Ontario to provide business mentoring, consulting, and support, and community economic development. And we support community economic development initiatives either through one-on-one consultations or through participation in larger stakeholder groups with partners. We provide business financing in the form of loans, which I'll touch on briefly in a second, and also workshops and training. So it's similar to what we're hosting this morning. We would normally, pre-COVID period, perform these in person, but we've obviously had to adopt, adopt the use of virtual platforms like everyone else. So this is actually the fifth of 6 webinars that we're hosting this morning, and this has been since the fall and into, I guess, the end of this year. So we've got one more before the end of December, and we're working on our lineup of webinars and workshops for the new year. Just to quickly identify who our clients are, and there's 4 main classes. So entrepreneurs, small business owners, revenue generating nonprofits, and social enterprises. And just to highlight what we do is we are mandated and focused to work on a regional level. So in that region is the county, and so we're serving the rural areas outside of the city of London, stretching from Dorchester all the way out to Glencoe. I mentioned talking about our business loans and financing. So part of what we do, a large part of what we do is we manage investment funds. So we have a few different investment funds available to us that we manage in-house that total about $8 million. I guess a key point that I want to point out with this slide is that we have just slightly over $4 million available at the moment to distribute. And we'll do this through the various products that we offer, and one of these is we can provide microloans of up to $30,000, small business loans up to $300,000, and we also have access to other investment funds that we can use to leverage those funds as well. One program that we're currently delivering, and we just recently received a top up for, is the Regional Relief and Recovery Fund through the Community Futures program. And so this is essentially it's a loan of up to $40,000. And it's targeting small businesses that have been impacted by COVID. 0% interest, no payments till March 31st, 2023. And the unique aspect of this program, similar to some of the other programs that are out there, federal relief programs, is that up to 25% of that is forgivable if you pay back 75% before March 31st, 2023. So that just sort of highlights the loan portfolio that we're managing. So this slide really is intended just to give you our contact information. So we've recently, during post-COVID, I guess post-pandemic, middle of April, we moved into our new offices. So it's not the ideal, it wasn't the ideal time to plan a relocation, but we are now located in our new offices, which are located on the main street of Ilderton, Ontario. So we're closed to the public, but we are starting to accept appointments in person by appointment only. So if you come to our front door is locked. We look forward to eventually welcoming people into our office. But for the time being, we're like everyone, we've had to kind of respond and respect the limitations that are put in place. So the other thing I wanted to highlight is that we do have a new website, which we launched at the end of July. It's cfmiddlesex.ca, And you'll also find links to on our website to our social media platforms, which were a good source of information on the various programs that we have, as well as these workshops and webinars and that type of thing. So I encourage you to reach out to us through our website or with the contact information that's provided. So our topic this morning is transforming and optimizing your business's online presence. So this is definitely a topic that's I think been top of mind for many small businesses that have had to respond to the pandemic. So we're fortunate enough to have to be joined this morning by two speakers. And I'll just give a very high level introduction, because I know they're both going to have presentations where they'll talk about who they are and what the program is. So the first speaker's Darryl Julott, and he's the managing lead of Digital Main Street. So Darryl's actually based out of Toronto, and that's the joy of this virtual technology. Anyone can join us from anywhere, and so his role is and responsibilities right now, he's overseeing a suite of programs, products, and resources, and I'm just sort of paraphrasing, that are aimed at helping small businesses adopt technology platforms that enable them to conduct business online. The second speaker this morning is Chalmers, and she's the Director of Partnerships for TechAlliance. So that's based out of London, Ontario, and that's our regional innovation center. And she's relatively new to the role, I think, and it's August 2020, but not new to working with technology-based companies, that's for sure. And the focus of her presentation is going to be more geared towards the Future Proof program that they are administering on behalf, or they're the delivery agent for Digital Main Street. So I'd like to thank both of you for joining us this morning, and I look forward to gaining insights about the programs and initiatives that you're offering, and thank you. So what I'm gonna do is I think Darryl's gonna go first, and so I've already kind of shared my rights with him to be able to pull it up. I'm gonna stop my screen share, and hopefully we can make a smooth transition here to Darryl.
Thank you, Todd. Just give me 1 second here.
Yep, no worries.
Can you see that okay, Todd?
Yeah, it's up, Darryl. Thanks.
Okay, cool. So Todd, thank you, Community Futures team, for all the work that you're doing and allowing me to join you guys today and just share a few words. But really just wanted to quickly give you guys a high level overview of what we've built with Digital Main Street, how we're working to support your businesses, and then dive a little bit deeper with Karen and answer some questions at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat in the meantime, but we can definitely address them at the end. So Digital Main Street, and I want to preface this before I get to my next slide, is, at the end of the day, we're a nonprofit organization that exists solely to help Main Street business owners grow by adopting digital technology. So we've been around for about 5 years now, and we've really just been focused on that. And in that 5-year span, we've been fortunate enough to engage with about 35,000 businesses in Ontario. And we've expanded to every province in the country, as well as a couple pilot projects in the United States. So it's been quite the ride over the last 5 years, but we're pretty proud of what we've been able to accomplish with small business support. So I always start, because people always say you got to start somewhere, and for us, that was this. So I'm not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form when I tell you this is literally how Digital Main Street started. About 6.5 years ago, my boss, our leader, John Carew, who's executive director, himself, some folks from the city of Toronto, and a few others were out, having dinner one night. And this is, a bar napkin, a restaurant napkin, whatever we want to call it. And this is literally where the idea for Digital Main Street came from. So I like showing it because, one, it's a funny image. You see a lot of the things that are still true today. You see the name, you see, bricks and clicks, not bricks or clicks, or bricks, bricks 2 clicks. Bringing businesses in the 21st century. You know, you see the BIAs down there, you see the vendors, you kind of see everything that made us what we are today. But I show it because, you know, literally this crazy thing where now, and you know, Karen's going to get into it, but across the province, we have over, you know, 1,000 people working on this thing right now. And, you know, to go from that to this, it really was just, you know, it's as cliche and corny as it sounds, a labor of love, right? You know, we got a bunch of people together who wanted to support small business, and we just kept, you know, working towards that goal and just kept supporting more and more business. And, you know, now we're at where we are today. But I love just showing that because it's just a funny way to start a presentation. Oh, okay. Well, so I'm going to go, it's backwards. This should be after the slide. So I'm going to do a bit of a flip flop here. So bear with me. But again, at its core, you know, we're a program that helps Main Street businesses achieve digital transformation. So we do that in a, you know, multitude of ways. We've got a bunch of programs that we're going to talk about, but really, you know, everything we do kind of comes down to these 4 key principles. So how are we supporting businesses with their digital transformation? How are we providing you with the knowledge and guidance you need to make informed decisions as business owners? How are we empowering you to become smart consumers as you undergo digital transformation? And how are we creating and building connected cities where, you know, Main Street businesses have a high level of digital adoption? Because at the end of the day, you know, everyone knows that the heart and soul of Main Street is our, you know, our small mom and pop shops. So that's just, you know, it's something we don't lose sight of. What's important here, though, is I always like emphasizing points 2 and 3. So providing you with the knowledge and guidance you need, but also empowering you. One of the core principles of, and it didn't start out as a core principle just because we had not, you know, had the foresight to understand this was going to become an important part of the program. But now, you know, especially in Toronto, and I'm assuming it's like that in every other city center, business owners get inundated, or at least they used to, with sales pitches. People coming in every day trying to sell them something, whether it's, you know, a piece of hardware, a piece of software, buy a new website, buy this loyalty program, whatever it might be. So a very, very important staple of our work is making sure that you as business owners, you know, have the knowledge that you need. So if 6 months from now you're going to hire someone for a website build, you know that website doesn't cost $10,000. You know that you can get a basic website for a couple $100. And you know what questions to ask, you know, some red flags to look for, and you have a better sense of what you're getting into. So you're not just kind of going into it blind and uncertain. And again, you've got, you know, you're empowered to kind of make that decision with the confidence of understanding, you know, what you're looking for, what you should be avoiding, all that kind of stuff. But that has become a very, very critical part of our work. And we continue to really strive to push that. Nope, sorry, I lied. So if you look at just the core platform as a whole, it's really broken down into these 4 categories. So we've got the web platform. So that's just digitalmainstreet.ca. And really that's just our hub for everything. So we've got our benchmarking assessment. It's a 40 question yes or no tool. It is not meant in any way, shape, or form to be a scorecard. So it's not trying to tell you that, you know, I'm doing good versus Todd is not doing good versus Karen is doing great. It's really there to ask you questions across the complete spectrum of digital transformation to give you a sense of where there might be some gaps or things that you're not considering. So, you know, you might be very good and very strong in 2 or 3 areas, but there might be 2 or 3 areas that you haven't even considered. And our goal with that assessment, again, is not to say good versus bad. It's to say, hey, you should be thinking about this. And then hopefully that gets the, you know, the juices flowing and you start thinking about that. And then if it fits your business, great. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. And then on the website as well, we post a ton of content. So we do our own content, we do partner content, thought leadership, just anything that we think would be valuable for a business. And we have our online learning as well, which I'll touch on in a second. The Digital Service Squad, that's our, you know, our program that we've been running for the last 4 years now. It's a one-on-one hyper-local teaching and mentoring program. So in most regions across Ontario now, we do have a Digital Service Squad member. And they're there to provide very, you know, reactionary one-on-one support. So if you decided today that, you know, something went wrong with your website and you said, oh shit, I need help, you can go online or you can call your local squad member or whatever and get that quick, just, you know, book an appointment tomorrow to get help type thing. Our academy, that's just a sub brand that we've created to house all of our thought leadership. So our online and in-person events. Pre-COVID, we were doing about 60 events a year. Now we're down to about 40, all online. And then the other piece of the digital, or the DMS Academy, sorry, is our online learning platform. So we have a full learning management system on the website. And what that means is that on the website at all times is completely free and accessible. We have 3 online courses. So the first is a Digital Transformation 101 course. That's 8 hours long. But the longest individual video is 15 minutes. So it is a long course, but it's built in a way where you can kind of do, if you only want to do one part, you only do one part. If you want to do the whole thing, but in bite-sized chunks, you can do that. Second course is called Marketing Your Business in the New Economy. We launched that in July, and that's a 2.5-hour course geared towards key topics related to, what we're dealing with right now with COVID and the pandemic. So, really focused on customer engagement, the new future of online, retail and business, email marketing, just topics that are very timely and relevant given the nature of the circumstances we're dealing with. And then the last one that we launched about a month ago was called the Main Street Relaunch Program. And that was done with one of our small business consultant partners. And it's a little out of our comfort zone in the sense that it's not completely digital. So it does focus on things like business financials and, business planning and, overall management and stuff like that. But it does have a digital element as well. And that was really, it became critical that, we saw businesses were going to need to have a better understanding of, if they can pivot their business, how they identify what that pivot point is, if they're starting, a new business or a new venture, like offering takeout where they never did, how to properly financial model and all that. So that was important to us. And then the DMS Lab, it started out as a retail tech incubator when we then launched it in Toronto, and now it's morphed into this pan-provincial wonderful program where we're offering the opportunity to pilot some really, really cool, innovative technologies in cities, from Thunder Bay down to Toronto, across to Ottawa and, Windsor. So there's a lot going on there, but yeah, this is the fun stuff. So back in June, thanks to our friends at FedDev Ontario and the province, specifically MedCat, the Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, we were able to expand these 3 programs right across the province. So our Shop Here program, if you're looking for an online store and you're a registered business, that's the program for you. You will get paired up with a youth helper, mentor, whatever we want to call it, and they will help you build your store at no cost to you whatsoever. There is no charge for the program. The only cost with that program is if you have a store built for yourself and you decide to use a platform that has a monthly fee, you will be responsible for that monthly fee after the trial, but there is zero cost to working with the DMS team, having somebody help you build that site, none of that. So our grant program, so there is a grant program that's, it's very timely. The deadline is actually in a week, so we can talk about that a little bit more after, but it provides Main Street businesses that are eligible. There are some pretty strict eligibility criteria, but with a $2,500 grant to implement digital transformation. So it could be for you to purchase a new piece of hardware, a piece of software, to run some advertising, whatever it may be. And it is a grant that's paid up front. That's the interesting piece. So it's not a reimbursement grant. It is, you get a check for $2,500 and then you're required to, produce a proof of payment and receipts and stuff like that. And then our Future Proof program, which I'm not going to touch on too much because Karen is coming in right after me to share the details. But really, we built this out. It says in partnership with Communitech and Invest Ottawa. I mean, those are the official partners on paper. But when you look at it, we've got partnerships with every single RIC in the province. And, we've been working very, very collaboratively to build this out together to make it a program that makes sense for everyone. It makes sense regionally, and it provides as much opportunity to businesses, startups, and the community regionally as possible. And really, it's looking, how do we help businesses identify new markets? How do we help them pivot? How do we help them develop and implement digital transformation plan? For some reason that got cut off. And then just a couple slides. I've already talked about this, so I'll fly through these. That's just a screenshot of our website. But again, you can log on to the website, you can sign up, and you can go from there. And you can access, like I said, our assessment, our content. You see at the top there, our vendor directory. So if you are looking to run a project and you don't know who to hire, you could go check out our vendor directory. So that's just, it's an open source directory. So vendors across the province are able to put themselves on there and let you know what they offer. So we've got about 1,500 vendors on there right now. So if you're looking for somebody local to hire, this could be a place to start. I will just warn you that you are responsible for still doing your own due diligence. With 1,500 vendors, there's no way that we can guarantee quality of work with all of them. So I want to be clear. We try and do an initial kind of cursory glance to make sure that everyone's good. But just, if you're going to engage someone, please call them. Please make sure you're comfortable, and please make sure you're good with that decision. The Academy, so that's just a screenshot of our training. So you'll see kind of on the right-hand side all the course topics. And then you can kind of see right here, hopefully you can see my mouse circling it. how each topic is broken down into 7 or 8 small videos. So even though the course itself is 8 hours, it's broken down into bite-sized videos. So you could, in theory, do 15 minutes a day. You could do an hour a day. You could do all 8 hours at once because you love it. It's really just, we built to see you could do it when you want, how you want, where you want. And again, completely free and accessible. We've got 20 hours of content and learning. So there's lots of stuff to go around. And then just taking a picture of the squad. So this is one of my squad members in Toronto, working with a business. And, you know, I like showing this because I like to make it very clear that we're not those salespeople that keep coming in trying to sell you stuff. We're not coming in a suit and a tie. We don't have anything to sell, first of all. Even if we wanted to, we don't. But we're not coming in suit and tie, you know, trying to overwhelm you. You know, we're coming in off the street, you know, button up shirt, sometimes wearing a hat. I think Karen can vouch for the fact that 90% of the time she's seen me, I'm probably wearing a backwards baseball hat. It's just that's what we try and do. We're all about, you know, kind of that grassroots, you know, community driven piece. You know, we're not there to try, like I said, to try and impress you or sell anything. We're just there to help. And we do that to try and make everyone more comfortable. But as you can see, it's very much the anti-agency model, I'll call it. So we're not there to just show up and say, you know, all right, Darryl, I need a new website. Here's all my stuff. Come back in 2 weeks when it's done. It's exactly like this picture. We're as focused with everything that we do at Digital Main Street, whether it's Future Proof, the grants, Shop Here, the squad, everything. We are as focused on the business owner as we are on the business. And what I mean by that is, you can see here, I forget this gentleman's name, but we're not just there doing the work for him. We're sitting there, you know, we could, in theory, he's walking through the design of the new website. I don't know what it was exactly, but it's all about capacity building. So we don't want to be there to just do the work for you. We want to help you execute the work, but do it in a way where, you know, you're going to build that capacity. You're going to gain that knowledge to continue it. So 6 months from now, you can still run it, and you can still, you know, get everything done. That's just the nature of what we're trying to do. So with that, I obviously am here. I'm not going anywhere, but I would love to turn it over to Karen to talk about some of the cool stuff that we're doing with Future Proof.
Is there any questions at this point from anybody that's out there that for Darryl, or we can leave it to the end for combined questioning for both of them? What was just one question, Darryl? I don't know if you can mention the domain name for Digital Main Street. I don't. You can put it up there. I don't know if people could.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's in there. It's just digitalmainstreet.ca.
Okay, perfect.
And everything can be accessed through there, and it's all free and accessible.
Yeah. Do you have to sign up for an account to access those resources that you identified, like those videos? Like you have to essentially sign in and then be a registered user to get that for free, or yeah?
Yeah. So the reason that we do that is because, so for the grant, great question, Todd. So for the grant, for instance, a component of that program is that you take one of those courses, the shortest one. Thankfully, sorry, 2.5 hours. We learned our lesson last time, but so you have to be logged in and have an account, because that's how we can actually track that it was Todd that completed the course, and you know, we can attribute that to your profile, which means you can move forward. So I'd say 90% of the resources you can access without an account, but honestly, creating an account actually includes taking that assessment. So if you wanted to do that, it's all kind of part of the same process, and end to end, you're probably looking about 10 minutes.
Yep. Okay, good. Thanks, Darryl.
No problem.
Hi, everybody. Good to see some familiar faces. Nice to see you, Sylvie. I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, and Eric too, my goodness. So I'm going to quickly just go over the future-proof part of the Digital Main Street program, and a little bit about who we are as TechAlliance. So 1 second here, I'm gonna share my screen. Can everybody see that? Okay, so TechAlliance. So we're the Regional Innovation Center for Elgin, Huron, Lambton, Middlesex, and Oxford counties. So we are your kind of innovation hub for this whole region. We're based in downtown London, like the Community Futures Middlesex. We moved as well during COVID, and our move date was the 1st of April as well. It was like April Fool's Day was honestly just a big joke for all of us because you move into a new building and nobody can see it. So we're now downtown at Dufferin and Waterloo in a beautiful heritage building, having left the research park that we'd been in for the Western Research Park for many, many years. And basically what our job is to, similar to Community Futures Middlesex, bring supercharging that kind of advice and experts to startups and scale ups and accelerating growth of innovation businesses that often have a technology spin, but it is not pure just technology innovation that we focus on. We focus on agriculture innovation and medical innovation, any kind of innovation. Currently we're working with a tampon company that's creating new innovative tampons for women. So it is innovation at its core in any capacity. And if you're an entrepreneur with a new technology or fast growing, looking for strategic direction, we're provincially funded and here to help you access the resource and expertise you need and find funding and give you that kind of bold growth point to grow from. So we're the place for dreamers, innovators, and world-changing ideas, basically. And as the Regional Innovation Center, we, through our friends at Communitech and through our friends at DMS and FedDev, we were brought into this experience of Digital Main Street to kind of take on the future-proofing section of it. Now, future-proofing has a multitude of kind of pillars, I would say. One point is, as Darryl mentioned before, the DMS labs, where we were able to bring so far at least one London technology company to the table to kind of come up with a technology that will help main streets, hopefully across the province and ideally across the country. But they'll be doing a pilot project in Oldies Village, and you'll be seeing some news about that pretty soon, hopefully in the papers. And then another part of the Future Proof program is community collaboration. So this is a good example of collaboration within our community to be sharing the news about what DMS does. But beyond that, we have some kind of key tenets to find out what businesses are struggling with because of COVID and how we can find some sort of solution to help with that. So once again, very soon you'll be seeing some news in the paper about or hopefully more than just the paper, hopefully it's everywhere, about a collaboration that's coming to the main streets of Strathroy and St. Thomas and London and Bayfield, so that we are actually collaborating to bring a digital experience for the holidays. So expect to see that very soon as one of our collaboration pieces. And then the other part of the future-proof component is transformation teams. And this is probably the one that, as a business owner, you're most affected by. And what transformation teams is they provide a specialized and very in-depth transformation service so that you can have a tailor-made plan for digital transformation. And you're going to get tools needed to maintain your online presence. And they can help with identifying new markets, pivoting your business model, and developing and implementing a deep digital transformation plan. So on a very high level, these teams consist of marketing professionals, web designers, and content creators. Obviously, any one of those hats can have a multitude of talents, but generally speaking, that's what the transformation team consists of. And the great thing about the transformation teams is that they've been able to hire a ton of employees within the area. I think we're well over 200 in our region, which is Waterloo West and north to Tobermory. So that's great that we're able to bring local talent to the table. Now, you may not be working with somebody who's right down the street from you, but know that this is, definitely a tenet of hiring within the transformation team. So what is the transformation team and what do they do? So, you'll go to digitalmainstreet.ca, you'll go to future-proof transformation teams and sign up to be a participant. If you get approved, for the project, then you'll have a goals and assessment meeting. And then over that 6-week time period, they'll build a digital transformation plan with you. So the idea is that you have an hour a day to commit to this project. And then as you build the digital transformation plan together, the transformation team will execute on that plan and then transfer the plan back to you so that you can continue the good work that you created together with your transformation team. So to be eligible for the future-proof transformation team, you have to be registered or incorporated in Ontario. You can't be a corporate chain or a franchise, including those that are individually owned and operated. You have to have a commercial location and maybe paying commercial property tax. But Darryl, I believe this is true that we have opened that up to home-based businesses as well. Just commercial locations will get kind of prioritized. And then being able to commit to working an hour a day between 9 and 5 for the up to 6 weeks of the program. Your transformation may not take 6 weeks. It may be a 2-week transformation, but we're asking that you have that ability to say yes for that 6 weeks if it requires it. So let's go through a few case studies as to where you would fit within the ecosystem. And Darryl talked quickly about the Shop Here program, but basically what the Shop Here program is a free website through our partners at Shopify. So this is a local butcher shop. They've been owned and operated for 20 years, great reputation. They accept cash and credit and debit. They don't have any inventory and they only do local radio and paper advertising. They need to set up orders online. They don't have any social media presence. They've never done any kind of curbside delivery or pickup before, but they can build a new customer base with people who discover the business on social. And basically what they have is a standard point of purchase system. So they would be a great starting point within the Shop Here program potentially, because they don't have any digital presence. They don't have a website even. So this would be a great way to kind of get a quick website up and running for them, would be the Shop Here program. And then when we move forward, if they kind of want to, they can start to look at other operations. So this retailer of a gift store, they opened 5 years ago, have part-time staff. They have a strong social media presence on Instagram, and they've been taking telephone orders since the closures began. Now, obviously, our area is a little bit different, that we're not in this full lockdown like Darryl's area is, but we're always trying to make sure that we prepare for that. So one of the challenges that this business has is that they don't have enough, they're not savvy enough to run the online operation, but they've got some kind of knowledge based on their social media presence. So they just need to kind of get going and learn a little bit on how to do it. They sell within their community, but they have an opportunity to sell across the country. And they're using a Shopify POS, and they have their inventory loaded into the system, but they've never done online sales. So the future-proof team would be able to, and the future-proof transformation team would be able to really kind of get them going with a great plan and move them towards success quickly. So how do we access all of this? Direct engagement. So as an end user, a business, you can just go to digitalmainstreet.ca. There's the web platform, as Darryl spoke about, with a central intake. And as a company, you can sign up directly. There's also partner referrals. So any delivery partner can help refer companies to get into the right stream for them. If you have a digital service squad in your area, then you can work with them to kind of connect with all that. And we'll also, as partners, like we are doing today, highlighting the availability of the online learning opportunities and grants that are available to you. So I guess now we're really at the point of questions, because there's obviously Darryl and I have downloaded a lot of information to you today, and we would love to be able to clarify and answer any questions that you have.
So I'm not seeing any questions in the chat at this point, but I take a look here. So my understanding, Karen, is from both Darryl and your presentation, it appears that the access to these programs and resources and these types of things is really centralized through the DMS like Digital Main Street kind of platform, is how they can access through to the programs that are delivered on a regional basis, like the Future Proof, right? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. So, if you go to that website, there's lots of different options. And even if you try to, actually, it's a nice touch that if you try to leave the website, it'll pop up and say, hey, don't forget, we have all these other resources that are available to you as a business, because as a business, you may go just looking for one of those things and not realize that there's lots of other options available to you. So, you might be going there looking for the grant and not realize that you could get, a free Shopify website for a period of time, or, free marketing expertise from the Future Proof program. So there's tons available to them on that website, and it's a great resource and something that they should explore for sure. Darryl, I'm wondering if maybe we should kind of go over maybe for the grant side of things more the what the application process looks like, and perhaps who qualifies a little bit.
Sure. I just had a question come in.
Oh, yeah.
If we are successful in getting a digital transformation grant from the Ontario Trillium Foundation for creating a next generation community legion, can we approach DMS to help with the implementation of the project? I'm going to say yes, conditional on timing. Just assuming that we have the resources available still and the programs are still running, and we've got the bodies. I don't see why not. I think that would make absolute sense. But what I'll do is I'll put my email in there. Yeah, so with the criteria, it really, I think with the grant, the big thing, so the first big thing is just to clarify that I in no way, shape, or form make any decisions regarding the grant. I don't approve, deny, I don't, finalize eligibility criteria. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that before, God forbid one of you gets denied and your pitchforks are coming from my place here in Pickering. But no, so I think, the biggest piece is, and I'll put the link in here just so you guys can actually take a look at it yourself after the fact. But the biggest thing is the zoning. So really what they zero in on for this is a commercially zoned business. But it also has to be in an area where the zoning is consistent with, say, a commercial downtown core or a commercial business district, or whatever the classification is in your area. I know it does change. I know there's flexibility in that sense, but it is really tied to that concept of, being in, what is the exact wording?
Commercially significant area, I believe, is the term I've been told.
So I'm gonna confuse a lot of people here, including myself, but I'm gonna read out the language verbatim. Must be a Main Street business that is located in or close to a downtown Main Street, a business improvement area, or has zoning consistent with the municipality's operating plan defining a central business district. So that's the big one.
So I'm thinking for so Strathroy has a BIA. If you're within the BIA in Strathroy, you would be qualifying for the grant. If you're in Lucan, I don't believe, does Lucan have a BIA, Todd?
They have, no, they've got an economic development committee, but I think it also comes down to, you're right, as these smaller communities and rural areas continue to grow and develop, a lot of the municipalities are going through trying to respond to this growth. So a lot of them are trying to work towards developing new official plans and redefining those commercial districts along the main street. For example, Ilderton being one, but there's other, Kamoka Kilworth, all these communities on the outside of London that are kind of continuing to grow. Those commercial districts, some of them are in just a process of being redefined and developed and grown out. So there is, I think that it does create some challenges when it goes out to the rural communities where the commercial districts in those communities were defined 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? And they've experienced this growth, and there's revitalization, and there's new businesses showing up, new buildings showing up. The building I'm in now happens to be in an area that was commercially zoned, right? But it used to be a house on this property, but it had commercial zoning, right? So there is a lot that it can, I think that's, if it goes back to the official plan and then looking at some of these communities and where some of the, ultimately a business needs to be, like a Main Street business has to be in an area that's zoned commercial, right? So I think, so I guess it's interpretation and trying to figure out if that's a disqualifying factor or not, right? And it's too broad a question.
So one of the pieces of advice I will say is if you believe that you're in a commercially significant area for your town, apply, and then if you get rejected for whatever reason or denied for whatever reason, then I would be reaching out beyond that, just to say, like, actually my town doesn't have a BIA, or because the challenge we see a little bit with our smaller towns is that we don't have sometimes in them an organization like a BIA that will define an area. So I've seen this happen in Oxford County as well. So we just have to do the effort. Please apply if you believe that you fall within a commercially significant area within the municipality or your town, and then if it doesn't go through, send an email, maybe speak to your economic development area or whatnot to get a little bit of clarification so that you can say, actually, we are within that area. Is that good advice, Darryl?
Yeah, for sure. And I think they are, like, the key here is that they are flexible and they're willing to listen. So even when you do apply, if there's an issue with your budget or with your proposal or whatever it may be, it's not a black and white, just like, oh, no, you know what, Dan sent in the wrong proposal, he's denied. They'll come back and they'll say, hey, Dan, can you do me a favor? Can you clarify line 3 in your budget? Just want to understand a little bit more what you're trying to do. And so that it's done for good reason, because we want to be flexible. So we've tried to basically bunch the grant into 5 main categories of spending. So you've got digital marketing, website, software, hardware, and training. And that's all in the link I put in the chat there. But so the idea being that, we want to provide some high level goalposts and some structure. Like, obviously you can't just go and buy a new MacBook because you really want one and try and claim that it's going to be a business expense. But, for things within the business, like, we want you to be creative. We want you to come up with, ideas and plans that suit your business. I'll give you one example. So on our previous grant program, so this is the one that we ran about 2 years ago, and I was involved in the decision-making then, we had a business owner apply because they wanted I guess the terminology is a light box. They wanted this box where you could take your own product photography and all this. But at the time in their application, they had just put in, hey, we want a light box. It's going to be, I think it was like $400. We want this. And I looked at it and I said, well, okay, well, because the thing with hardware, and this holds true with this program, is you have to make a good business case. You can't just say, oh, I want a new computer, or I want this. You've got to kind of tell that story of like, I want a new computer because I'm going to, or I need a tablet because I'm going to be collecting emails, and I also want to be able to manage my social, my pictures, whatever it may be. And so they didn't really tell that story, and I initially denied them. And then they came back and they made their case, and they said, listen, like, we want this because we don't want to keep paying somebody to do our product photography for our website. We want to be able to just do it in-house, and we want to be able to do it in the back. And here's how this is going to benefit us. And literally almost instantaneously, as soon as they told me that, I was just like, give me the paper right now, stamp, approve. So there is flexibility there, but we also do want you guys to be creative. If there's something that you're really looking at for your business, put it in your budget and see what happens. Or worst case scenario, email myself or Karen, or I can give you the email to the grants team, and we can help connect you to them to clarify beforehand. But there's not really, like, it's not a high stress thing. So I don't want you guys to worry about, like, putting it in and getting denied for no reason. I would say, without anything to back this up except for my gut, I would say 95% of denials are due to location. Very rarely does somebody get denied based on their actual plan and their budget. The only time I've ever seen that happen was when there was some incorrect items and they refused to adjust and amend their budget. But most of it comes down to that big front piece around, a central business district, commercial zoning, all of that. All the other stuff is usually, again, it's smaller, it falls, because there are other criteria pieces, right? So you got to be a registered business in Ontario. You've got to be paying commercial property tax, either directly or indirectly. So either you own your building or you rent it. You're not a franchise. You're not a charity. You're not renting temporary office space. So you're not just renting a hot desk in a co-working space. Like, so there are some other, easier criteria pieces that you'll look right away and you'll go, okay, nope, doesn't apply to me. The big one to focus on is that first bullet point. The zoning, the commercial plan, the designated business district. That's going to be if there's going to be a roadblock for anyone, that'll be the one.
I guess there's a question here in the chat. Is the digital transformation only covers the online presence? Does it help with business processes? For example, I guess digital transformation such as inventory management, ordering, these types of things.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally, I think the best way to think about it is, and again, I say digital transformation a lot, so I know I'm guilty of that, but I think the best way to think about it is any way you could use digital to help your business. So we've seen a lot of people, to your point, Todd, that have focused solely on streamlining back office operations and processes. They've implemented, digital HR solutions to manage their staff. They've implemented, digital, whether it's QuickBooks or something like that, to take all their accounting and finance online, staff scheduling tools, whatever it may be. It doesn't necessarily need to be for that front end, website or social media advertisement. It definitely can be, but it's just, how can you as a business owner use digital technology to grow and better your business? That's really what it comes down to. It doesn't have to be, everyone gravitates towards their website because that's kind of the sexy item on the list. It's like, ooh, my website new, or I can improve it. Like, that makes sense. But if you've already got a great website, you don't have to go in and spend money just to change it for the sake of changing it. You can look at those other operations. A lot of people are leveraging different softwares, security softwares, marketing, Photoshop, Adobe, because they want to do their graphics in-house. Like I said, there's some HRIS platforms like Humi, which are online HR management platforms. QuickBooks, the financial side of it. There's, product management software that people are using to work with their staff, stuff like that. So there's all sorts of things. But yeah, it literally covers that full spectrum. If you can make an argument, I know this is being recorded, but please don't take this as set in stone, because again, I don't make the decision on the grant. But I think the best way I can explain it is, if you can make a case for how investing in whatever digital tech you want to is going to better your business, you have a damn good chance of being approved.
I will also say that with the transformation teams, as they go through that plan with you, there may be, spend on marketing advertising. And if you've been approved for the grant, then you can use it towards that as well. So it really depends on what's best for your business, and really kind of making a good case for it when you're applying.
Yeah.
I guess the follow-on question to that was, is there a program specific to the ERP system selection and implementation? And from what I understand, it's probably the programs are in place. Is there a program specific to that, or is it just, how does it fit into the existing programs? There's not a specific program related to ERP, so it's any of these ERP, ordering, inventory management, all these other things all fit under this whole digital transformation model, right? Is that, I don't know if that's a clear question, or just, is that right, Darryl? Or
Yeah, absolutely. Although we don't have a direct arm, that's focused, to your point, Todd, specifically on that, 100% we can focus on that.
yeah, okay, good. I guess one question that I had in follow-up is around the regional basis of these digital service squads. So Karen, for us within Middlesex, is there a digital service squad within our region, or where would be the nearest one? And are they allowed to support outside of the defined geographic territory that they're based in?
So I know there's one in Hyde Park, but they do focus on the London area. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay.
Right now, Todd, sorry about that. Darryl, do you know where our DSSs are?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just.
That, Todd.
So Todd, maybe to help you, can you throw out some cities that are covered by Middlesex outside of London?
So we could be Strathroy, it could be Dorchester, it could be Thorndale, Park Hill, Glencoe. We're really far reaching out to the far west sides. But for example, so our region in Middlesex is really, it's the horseshoe on the east to the west and the north that surrounds the city of London. So if there is a digital service squad based and serving Hyde Park region, it's 5 minutes down the road from my house, right? So like I just don't know, like if that's if they're serving the city of London based out of Hyde Park, maybe there is the opportunity for the rural businesses that are located in the communities outside of London to be able to access for whatever their specific support is for within the program, right? But it's just a question.
Yeah, that might be a possibility, Todd. I'm not 100% certain on that, but the way that a digital service squad comes to be, I guess, is a good way to explain it. That a regional BIA, say for instance, can apply for funding to pay for a squad member through DMS. So this may be something that as Middlesex representatives, we can start to ask our local people that perhaps that they can apply for one. So that, because in thinking about where I know that we have some, I don't think that any are technically falling in Middlesex right now. So. Okay.
Oh, that's good. It's something to write down on the list of things that we can look at as a follow-up. And I guess one of my colleagues has sent me a text here and said one of the questions is if someone's already implementing a digital transformation, so they're on that road, right? Can they still engage in the process at any point, or do they have to wait kind of be approved before they pull the trigger on that? Like, so I guess if they're on that journey, but then they can approach and apply through this program to access the future proof program or whatever at any point in their journey, I guess, right? Is not to answer the question, but is that okay? Good. So we're just approaching an hour here. I think this has been great discussion, and I think Karen and Darryl, thanks for sharing those presentations and supposed to both be on the same call. I sat in some of the previous presentations that Karen's done about the future proof program, and she's touched on the broader stuff. But I think having Darryl here and sort of preempting that, I've learned that many more things as a result of this, and I hope that the people on the call also would agree that there's a lot of resources embedded in here, a lot of links to where you can access some great resources that are in place to sort of help you create your online presence or optimize it, or seek seek a lot of times free resources, which are always nice too. So you're not in it alone. And that's really, I guess, the intent of both us as an organization and TechAlliance and Digital Main Street is to help the small businesses succeed on their journey, and especially responding to some of the challenges that everyone has been having to face as a result of this COVID thing. So there's no further questions, and I'll just take a quick look here. We're getting some positive feedback on the call, so a very helpful information session. So thank you. So just from me to you and from everyone else, thanks for your time, and we will make this video available through our YouTube channel. We'll put a link through to it on our website, and we'll likely probably include some kind of social media kind of follow up as well. So thanks a lot for your time this morning, and thank you, Darryl, for joining us from Toronto. Hopefully things start to open up for you guys there soon.
You know what? It's probably for the best right now, Todd. I hate to say that because I hate to see businesses close, but the way that we were trending was not ideal. So
yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care.